And away we go. It is the BCJ Podcast, brought to you by the Holy Grail, right here on BearcatJournal.com. Remember, next Saturday, the 27th, the second BCJ watch party of the season. We will be live from the Holy Grail starting at noon as the Bearcats take on the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence. So stop down, get yourself some good lunch. Maybe have a couple ice-cold Cincy Lights while you're there. And as always, 50 cents from every Cincy Light donated back to the University of Cincinnati to support the student-athletes. So support those that support us and also those that go out of their way to support UC. All right. This is essentially our bye-week episode, David. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Essentially our bye-week episode because, look, we're not going to have a whole lot to say about Northwestern State. So, yeah.
I did a solo show with Aaron jumping in here and there on Sunday morning, and I got like 40-something, maybe almost a full hour out of the brunch that I was not expecting to be able to get. So if you have anything you want to hear about that game and you haven't listened to that yet, go listen to that because there's nothing else I got.
Yeah, I mean, look, Aaron and I got to like right around that same range, a little over 40 minutes on the aftermath, and it was like the only thing I forgot was I forgot to give a shout out to Lichty for the dime he threw to Cyrus Allen for that touchdown.
Yeah.
Other than that, there wasn't a whole lot else to say, Dave.
Nope.
So, we'll get into we got a lot. We still have a lot to talk about today. We're gonna get into kind of UC at the bye, where that's at. We're gonna take some stock on things in the Big 12, where we see the conference trending. Who do we like? Who do we not like? As we get into the start of conference play. I know there's been a couple smatterings of games, although Arizona, Kansas State didn't count towards the conference standings.
No.
We've seen a couple games. We're going to start getting into that a lot more heavily this week and then next week as things really get the ball rolling. So some thoughts on the conference. We're going to talk about firing coaches in the first month of the season, opening the door to allowing your entire roster to sit out the rest of the season. I'm fascinated to know what that would look like if the whole roster was just like, we're good. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about the new transfer portal window that was approved today. The spring window is out. The new window is in. Maybe the most important part of that, Dave, December is now a dead period. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Sure it is.
We'll touch on some basketball. Dave's got his Cincy Light Six Pack, the Simone 6-pack that we'll get to here a little bit. So it's the bye week, but don't fret. Dave and I had a lengthy pre-show meeting this afternoon. Lengthy pre-show meeting this afternoon, and we've got you guys covered. Don't fear, never fear. Just because the Bearcats aren't playing on Saturday, you're still going to get your fix of the BCJ Pod. Before we get started, Dave, before we really dive into anything, big thanks as always to our partners at Homefield Apparel. I had the old school Seapaw on Monday night for the BBP. Tonight I went Great Midwest Champs 1992 Homefield Apparel. If you're looking for the best retro UC gear on the planet, homefieldapparel.com. They have got you taken care of.
I was in attendance for the Great Midwest Champs 1992 tournament in the United Center, Chicago, Illinois. And somewhere in my possession is a event program signed by the entire roster and coaching staff.
Were you 5? 6?
No, it's like 11. 1992?
Okay, I was okay. I was a little old. I was like 14.
11, 12, somewhere in that range.
Are you 45?
No, 43. I was born in 81.
Okay. 81. Right? No, you were like 11, 10.
That's 11. What I just said.
Yeah, okay.
You said 5.
I know. I was thinking of Aaron. That's my bad. Did Anthony stop by your tailgate, Dave?
As far as I know. I guess I can't really call it my tailgate anymore because I'm not
the Simone family tailgate
in attendance. But yes, it was. I believe he was stopping by to give something to my aunt. So, but yeah, he called me. This is fun. He might hear this, he might not, but he called me asking me where we were, and I was like, up on the top. And he's like, I'm there. I'm like, yeah, on top of Campus Green. He goes, oh, I think I'm at university. I was like, well, you're probably going to need to go over to the other garage then.
You're going to have a hard time finding them at the top of university.
Yeah.
Potential game of the year in the Big 12 this Saturday. Yeah. It might be 1 and 2. I mean, those very well might be the 2 best teams. There are a couple others with a say in that, but we'll get into that when we get into all the Big 12 stuff coming up here in a little bit. But Dave, we homefieldapparel.com, and you can get your choice of all kinds of great vintage UC gear. They've got the new crew neck out with the street 3-stripe band on the bottom and on the wrists, red. That's a really good one. I like that. I love the hoodies. I'm a big hoodie guy. We're kind of annoyed, Dave. We keep teasing hoodie season, but we don't quite get all the way there. It's not quite
90, it's gonna be 90 degrees on Friday. Like what is going on?
Well, it's punishment for having like 2 weeks of nice weather a couple weeks ago, and now we're just getting second summer. 90, I think 87 on Saturday. So yeah, and I think last I looked, like it was supposed to be in the 80s plus for the next 2 weeks. I need 70s.
It's 60s. 60s.
72 degrees. Give me 72 degrees, 73 degrees. What's Aaron pulling up here? There we go. There's the new the tri-stripe crew neck, the football ringer tee, new hoodie, a lot of good stuff. So, excuse me, get to homefieldapparel.com today and stock up your collection. Dave, take this away for a minute. I'm struggling right now.
All right, so I think we took, like we said, there's not really much worth diving into in the last game. So we figured we're going to kind of use this time as a way to take some stock in what we've seen so far out of Big 12 teams. And if, personally, like, I don't think I'm not really going to like change at this point what I think about teams. I think teams have shown they might be a little better.
Have more information.
They might be a little better, a lot better, a little worse, a lot worse. But with the way this conference works, like, I don't think it's really fair or smart to necessarily sit with any conviction, say one way or another what we feel about these teams. But I mean, there's certainly some trends developing, certainly some pluses and minuses that teams have shown. I don't think we need to like go through. I don't know. Do you want to go through every single team and say what we think, or
not really?
I didn't think so. So I mean, I guess a couple things as it pertains to UC specifically in their next 2 games, which I think are pretty big, and really the next 4 games to me are going to tell a huge story as to what the back half of the season. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What about tiers? Just kind of break things down into tiers, maybe a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry,
but just 2 things on the 2 next opponents, real quick. we'll get into previews, but once we get to those games. But something I'll be watching this week in the Kansas-West Virginia game, even with West Virginia not having their star running back Jaheim White, I'm interested to see how Kansas does defending the run. And then Kansas's offense, outside of Jalen Daniels running, they really haven't ran the ball well at all so far this year. So can they get that going? How does that look? I feel like UC defensively, regardless of opponent, has been, pretty solid against the run, and I would think that would continue. And then Kansas's rush defense gave up a ton of yards to Missouri, who has Ahmad Hardy.
Their pass defense.
Ahmad Hardy is a very, very solid lead back, and then Bo Pribula, who transferred in from Penn State, is a very strong running quarterback. So you kind of look at how that matches up with UC. I don't think West Virginia is going to beat him with a running quarterback, so to speak, but they really struggled to stop a running quarterback that had a good running back with him. And then Iowa State, I was, in the whatever number of college football podcasts I listened to, they have a very, very much higher than standard tight end usage rate. It's up at 40% in their passing game. They're using 4 tight ends or catching passes. We talked in the preseason about how are they going to replace the 2 second-round draft picks, and it seems like it's to throw to the tight ends. So with UC playing 3 linebackers and that center field safety, what kind of a matchup will that present in the passing game there? So just a couple things to keep in mind when you're watching games this weekend. I don't know who Iowa State has this weekend. I just know because we play Kansas next that they have West Virginia. But those are just a couple things I've heard and noticed, that will directly affect UC in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm torn on what to think about Iowa State. Like if we're gonna get into some tiers here, the Big 12, the 24/7 Sports Big 12 media poll that we do weekly. You can find that on the network. This week had Texas Tech number 1, Iowa State number 2. Utah number 3.
I would not have Iowa State number 2.
I don't either, but it brings up an interesting conversation, especially this early. Iowa State has done, quote unquote, the most through 4 games, 4 weeks, I guess, with wins over Kansas State and Iowa. But as it turns out, it looks like Kansas State is terrible. Iowa still hasn't found the forward pass.
You needed I guess that's the thing is you go to, and I'm not diminishing these things. You came out on top. You found a way to get the W, and that's all that matters, especially early in the season. You go to Ireland, it's a monsoon in the first half. You get the win. Everybody plays in it. No qualms there. You need a 50-plus yard field goal, I think it was, maybe 60 yards to beat Iowa, who cannot move the ball on offense. You beat the daylights out of whatever FCS team you played, and then a week after Arkansas beat Arkansas State 56-14, it is a 1-score game late in the fourth quarter in Jonesboro. They went on the road against a G5 team, so you got to give them credit for that because not many teams do. But you're in a game. That is an absolute game until you score a touchdown, and you only go up 8. It's still 1 possession. Yeah. They win 24-6. I think it was 24-16 maybe. I don't remember the exact score,
something like that, yeah.
So I'm just kind of you're doing and this is the difference I feel like between an Iowa State and what we've seen from UC. Have they played great in any of these games? To their standard, probably not. But you know what? They've figured out a way to win.
Yeah.
And it's certainly easier correcting errors and fixing problems coming off wins than if you had missed that field goal against Iowa and they win in overtime, or something happens and, God forbid you lose at Arkansas State. So I'm not going to discount them, but like if you're going to be, if you want me to put them as like the number 2 team in the conference, it's got to be
have a little more confidence in them.
It's got to be more than just, we won games.
Right. It's a power ranking, right? Like it's a where do we think these teams stack up? I don't think they've looked like a top 2. I had them 4th.
Yeah.
I had them behind Texas Tech, Utah, and TCU. I had them 4th.
Yeah. I would probably have Utah second. Their blowout win over UCLA, they're getting no shine from that.
Yeah, I had Utah first. I had them first last week, and they didn't do anything to make me move.
No, that score was the Wyoming score was a little misleading. It was 3-0 at halftime, and they missed 3 very short field goals in the first half, and then went one, and then I think they had a turnover maybe in the Wyoming red zone. But and then Texas Tech, they haven't played anybody, but they're doing what you're supposed to do. If you're going to tell me you're good and you're not going to play anybody, then beat the brakes off of everybody you played. Yeah. And that's what they've done so far.
Utah and Texas Tech would be my tier 1. Like I don't think there's anybody that to me has stood out more than those 2. Tier 2 gets interesting because Iowa State's in there, TCU's in there. Is BYU in there? Like,
BYU's not in there right now for me because they're running the ball at 60% right now with LJ Martin, and I'm not sure if that's sustainable when you start playing teams that aren't Stanford and whoever else they've played.
On the flip side, they have played twice. They are averaging the opponents are averaging 1.5 points a game against BYU. So if they keep doing that, they can run the ball.
They'll probably make the playoff if they continue to limit teams to less than 2 points a game.
Yeah, I feel confident they could run the ball a lot. Like that, they're obviously not going to, but it does look like they've got a really, really good defense. How that looks when you get, Portland State and Stanford.
Right.
But when you get into the Big 12, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
So, is your second tier just Iowa State and TCU?
No, I would probably have Arizona State and Baylor in there because I still think they're good teams. Baylor is showing that they're going to be in a bunch of 48, 45 games. Like whether it's rushing defense or passing defense, it just doesn't seem to be there. But at that what they did to SMU without 2 of their main wide receivers playing, you're going to be, I don't care what defense you got in the Big 12, you're going to be hard pressed to slow them down over an entire game. And, is Arizona State, I don't think it's a Cam Scatabo thing. They're running the ball just fine with Rayleigh Brown. The guy's really good. Sam Leavitt was terrible against Mississippi State, and they still almost came back and won the game. And probably they feel like should have. They gave up a 65-yard touchdown in under a minute, with under a minute left. So I'm gonna not overreact too much to one loss on the road in the SEC and just say I want to see some more. Them and Baylor play this week, which will be a super fun game too. I know Texas Tech and Utah's getting all the attention, but that's a super fun game Saturday night to watch.
I still don't know how much I believe in Arizona State, but I think it's fair to have them and Baylor in that second tier for now. But I've got a close eye on both because I was not. You talked about it a bunch when we talked about Arizona State. It wasn't like they were good. to start the season last year. They just managed to get on a roll at the right time in a conference where that matters.
Right. How your schedule breaks and how you happen to be playing it, the last 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season.
If you can get to week 9 or 10 and you're still alive in the conference race, you can make it to Dallas. Like, that's the trick, is getting from week 4 to week 9 and still being in the race. Because at that point, that means 1 or 2 losses, and then you can get hot and you can end up, how does your schedule break? And you can end up playing for a conference championship in this league. And they got hot at the right time. I don't know. There's something about them that felt off to me this year, going from a team that everybody expected to be terrible to being the team that everybody had picked first or second in the conference.
Right.
And they it's not even that they look like they aren't handling it well, Dave. To me, they kind of look like who they were for most of last season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're hovering on that tier 2, tier 3 line for me.
Yeah.
And Baylor's same way, because if their offense sputters at all, I don't have any faith that their defense can hold up.
Right.
Tier 3 is where it gets interesting.
Tier 3 mean like what, 8 teams? I mean, it feels like,
yeah. Like, well, how many tiers do you think there are in this league? I guess is the question.
Well, there's 16 teams, so probably 4. I mean, you probably have the we think they're pretty damn good, would be our very early favorites to make it to Dallas. Tier 2 is like, maybe they've got some equity from last year, or there's one part of the team that we think is really, really good that could propel them in games, even if the other side of the ball isn't playing great. And then tier 3 is like, they have elements that we like, they have elements that we don't like, and their schedule to this point hasn't really told us whether they're going to win 7 games or 5 games. It could go in a whole
either way.
All sorts of different directions.
All right. It almost would be easier, Dave. Who do we have in tier 4? And then we'll discuss everybody else in tier 3. But
Oklahoma State is the worst team in the league, like hands down.
Kansas State and Colorado would like a word.
Kansas State. If I don't think so. I mean, Oklahoma State is a mess.
Yeah,
Colorado's
not far behind.
They don't have anywhere near the overall talent on the roster that a Kansas State does. Colorado might not be far behind. I have not watched. I don't think I've watched actually any of them yet. So, Kansas State, Colorado, Oklahoma State, West Virginia would be
I almost think that the win over Pitt doesn't, at least for a week, push West Virginia into tier 3.
No, because the best player in the stadium barely played. They would not have won that game if Desmond Reed didn't get hurt.
Fair, but they still won the game.
They did, but
their number 1 player's hurt, right? Their running back's out for the year.
He was out. He got hurt the week before.
I know. All right, so I
think that's just got 70-something new players. And we're projecting too. Like I'm looking at this like also moving forward, not just 100% what I've seen through 3/4 games, just because the schedules have been so vastly different. Whenever the next off week is, then I think we'd have much more of a firm grasp on things.
Yeah, but that's not the bye week.
I know.
This is the bye week. Where's UCF?
I have no idea.
They were bad in week 1.
I mean, they've played no one.
Right. And they still almost lost week 1. They should have lost week 1.
Yeah.
I would have them in tier 4. Personally.
I can see. I mean, I'm not gonna argue that at all. They're one that like I just don't know. I mean, you're 2-0 and you barely beat Jacksonville State and you blew out North Carolina A&T. Like,
right.
Could you be good? Sure. Could you win 3 games? Also sure.
I mean, that ultimately, though, that makes tier 3 pretty small, Dave. If that's 11 teams.
Yeah, I mean, in tier 3, I would have
Cincinnati,
UC, Kansas,
Arizona, Houston.
See, I don't
BYU.
I don't think BYU for sure. I don't think Houston can score enough points to win many Big 12 games.
And they put up 30 plus on Colorado.
Yeah. Well, okay, we have Colorado in our last tier.
36 on Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen F. Austin, Rice, Colorado, they have a bye, then they play Oregon State, who's not good. I mean, so I don't know. I just don't see their offense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can, but yeah, I mean,
I think Houston's comfortably above, at least right now, the 5 teams we have in tier 4.
Yes, I would have them in tier 3 if we're comparing to those others for sure.
So tier 3 is Houston, Cincinnati, Kansas, Arizona,
BYU.
BYU is probably the number 1 team in tier 3, I think, at least for right now. Yeah, so there's 5.
Kansas State is just so confounding to me. Like, maybe I just I'm totally missing that the roster is not that good. They just have, like, from the jump of the season, they've just had
something's off.
Right. I mean, they're not. The offense is not using Avery Johnson the way anyone expected it to. The offensive line stinks. They've had all sorts of noise around the program, even, I mean, more so than just what happened in Ireland. Like, there just feels like it's on, like, literally like on the brink of total collapse.
Did they put too much on the shoulders of Avery Johnson?
I'm wondering, like, this would be a question for, like, Tim Fitzgerald or any.
Yeah.
Like, the coordinator change of Colin Klein leaving seems to be I don't know if they thought it was a big deal, if their fan base did, but it seems to be a pretty big deal.
Yeah. It doesn't look right. That offense does not look efficient. It looks sloppy. There's mistakes all over the place. Like, there's just Dylan
Edwards being hurt obviously doesn't help, but, like,
sure,
you got nobody else that can run the ball.
I mean, yeah, that guy is electric, but they just look bad in, like, all facets of the game. They look, right now, as weird as it is to say for them, because it's usually not the case, they look poorly coached.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that guy's a bad coach. Do you?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, it's not even that they're like, it's just, yeah, something's up.
They don't feel right.
No.
How long does the Deion experiment continue at Colorado?
As long as Deion wants it to.
Think so?
Yeah. They're all the way in.
Yeah, but they're all the way in, I think, because of the curiosity around that.
You think they got the money to make a move on that?
Probably not, I guess. I'm just saying, like, all that money pouring in, It's going to stop pouring in if this is who they are.
Well, yeah, because that's a fan base that has not been. I mean, I'm not going to compare it to UC at all. I mean, they've had a Heisman
It's a lot more
Trophy
history there.
But like, it's a recent fan base that has not had success. I mean, they've gone through, I want to say, 3 or 4 coaches in the last 10 to 15 years. So, like, it will be very easy for people to stop going if the product isn't good. But at the same time, like, I
think they missed on a lot of goodwill. If they had made the Big 12 championship last year, I think they would have bought some time.
Yeah, I just found it hard to, like, you know, you like, for as much slings and arrows as Deion gets, like, you are replacing a very, very high level college quarterback and the best player in college football
that you didn't do anything with.
But, like, you still got to, like, they won how many games? 8, 9 games?
Yeah, but they missed the Big 12. They had the Big 12 championship game locked up, and they blew it.
Yes, but he is year 2? Was that year 2 or year 1?
Year 2.
What he inherited was, I think as much bluster as Deion has, he knew they weren't going to just, like, the year 1 offensive line was
atrocious.
An abject disaster. Year 2 was slightly better, but, like, I think the defense took big steps last year. I don't know what they lost or whatever from last year to this year, but
they gave up 36 to Houston.
Yeah. How much of that was offense? I don't know. I mean, we didn't watch the game. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know. Like, but yeah, I mean, you bring in 2 transfer quarterbacks one transfer quarterback and a very highly talented freshman, and now you're starting some guy that no one had ever heard of. So,
Houston threw for 222 and ran for 209.
So I don't know. I think you got at least 2 more years. This year, next year, and then if we're real bad this year, or you don't make a bowl this year, then you got next year, and if that follows the same pattern, then I think once you're into 2027, that's when I think maybe you could. I don't see it. Like, I don't see them, because okay, you did all this, you made all these headlines, you paid all that money. Who's wanting to follow him?
Yeah, I mean,
Colorado's not some hotbed of like they don't have this long track record of hiring, kind of like you see. Like, yeah, we've had a couple swings and misses in there, but it's not like they've got 20 years of showing that they can. Hey, it's okay. This one didn't work out. It started hot. It fizzled out. But we have a track record of being able to lure top tier candidates to Boulder.
Yeah. Mel Tucker.
Yeah. Is it what guy, John Embry, I think was before him. He went 0-12, I think, the year they fired him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What do you make of Arizona so far?
I actually think Noah Fafita is getting all the attention. I think the best player on their team is their running back. I don't know how much you've watched of them. I think his last name is Amadi or something. Dude can go.
And that's another interesting one in the Big 12 this week. They're at Iowa State.
Yeah. No, that's not this week.
Or that they got a bye. Sorry, there's a bye. That's my bad. That's next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they're certainly not the doormat we thought.
No, I think a lot of
6 points through 3 games.
A lot of people. I mean, Hawaii, Weber State, Kansas State. Hawaii's got it. I mean, I've watched Hawaii. They're not going to be awesome, but like to hold them to 6 is fairly impressive. And then Kansas State, I don't know. Like, on paper, they have no business losing that game to Arizona State or to Arizona.
Yeah. I mean, unless Arizona's just better than we thought. Like we thought they were going to be bad.
I mean, Avery Johnson in that game, 13 of 29 for 88 yards.
It's look, we've had a couple of those, and when we have not been kind to Brendan Sorsby in those instances.
Their running game, they broke one run for 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Outside of that, their leading rusher had 17 rushing yards.
And then they had a turnover deep in their own territory, and they scored, and those were their 2 touchdowns. Like,
they had less than 200 yards of total offense. Combining 3rd and 4th down, they were 3 for 17. Oh my God,
and it's been every week. Like, that's not we had a bad week.
That kind of offense will make your eyes bleed.
That's not we had a bad week. They're 1-3, could be 0-4 with the loss to an FCS team.
They're spiritually 0-4. I watched the end of that game.
Yeah,
they had no business winning.
No,
that last drive was just Avery Johnson being stunning everybody on South Dakota.
Yeah,
or
just
North
being
Dakota, whichever Dakota they play.
The superior athlete on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's a fascinating race at this point, because I do think 1 and 2 have a little bit of separation, but not a ton. Like, Iowa State, if they continue with their MO, where they just don't make a ton of mistakes, they get close in the end and they find a way. Rocco Becht is super experienced. I think he is the definition of a game managing quarterback, but he knows how to get his team across the finish line. I could see them beating either Texas Tech or Utah.
For sure.
Do they play both of them?
Hold on, let me see.
They do not play either.
Oh, well, there you go.
They have Arizona, Cincinnati, Colorado, BYU, Arizona State, TCU, Kansas, Oklahoma State. I might just go ahead and pencil them in for Dallas, looking at that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wins. With that, the rest
feels like it on September 17th.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated for the Texas Tech Utah game, though. Just fascinated to just watch how it unfolds. I don't care who wins. I think Utah will win, but I'm just fascinated to watch it.
It should tell us a lot. It will certainly establish probably a clear number 1.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Texas Tech wins, then everything they've done to these terrible teams is verified. Like, yeah. Okay, you did it you blew out terrible teams, and then you went on the road at 10 a.m. local time and beat the most physical team that any of the guys on your roster have probably ever played.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating matchup, too, of Texas Tech portaled in. Everyone makes such a big deal out of all the money they spent, but it was not all. The vast majority of it was on the lines. And they brought in 2 legit defensive ends who are now going to be going up against 2, I won't call them likely, but like 1st/2nd round draft picks. So
Marcus, what's up, brother?
How does that play out?
We're stealing your shtick, Marcus, with tiers. Let's compare. I didn't even look at Marcus's.
I haven't.
Where is it?
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a cool, fun matchup. That it's going to be even at 10 a.m. It's going to be a hostile environment, and then you just have such contrasting styles of how they want to win football games.
He did 5, Dave. Here's Marcus. Marcus starts this thread every week. So I borrowed the idea from him. Tier 1, Utah, TCU, Texas Tech. So he's got TCU in Tier 1. I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm not ready for that yet. Tier 2, he's got Baylor, Iowa State, and BYU. We had BYU right on the cusp. Tier 3, Kansas, Houston, UC, Arizona State, and Zona. We agree there. Tier 4, West Virginia, UCF. Tier 5, Colorado, Oklahoma State, Kansas State.
Yeah, you just kind of broke up 4 and 5 where we had more teams in 4.
For the most part, we agree.
Yeah.
We're not far off.
It's just such a contrast in styles that, can they handle the physicality of Utah? Because most teams that have been built like Texas Tech, go back to Oregon. Oregon was 2 years ago was unbelievable and just played Utah twice and just got their teeth kicked in both times.
Bullied, I think, is the terminology, Dave. They got bullied.
So, and I don't think Utah's anywhere near as good as that team that did that to Houston, but you import a new offensive coordinator with his quarterback, and my main concern from Utah is if it does get into a little bit of a back and forth, can they hold up offensively?
Is that quarterback as good as we think he might be?
He's thrown a lot.
I think he might.
For his career, he turns the ball over a lot. At least he did last year. Now this year, I don't think he's really put it in harm's way too much because he didn't have. I don't think he's had to.
7 touchdowns, no picks so far.
Yeah,
he's got 628 yards passing, 198 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown rushing.
Dude is fun. In their game against Wyoming, they're in the red zone. He's running around. He drops the ball. He picks it up, and throws a touchdown pass. So
yeah, that's kind of the thing, Marcus. It's. I still don't know what to think about Texas Tech's defense.
No,
there's a lot of money on it. Is it good?
You've played. I won't say they've played 3 Northwestern states because that would be very disrespectful to Oregon State, who also is not good, though. Fresno State blew them out at Oregon State. And then Texas Tech, I think, shut them out or damn near shut them out last week. So, yeah, you're gonna find out because they're gonna. You know what they're doing. Utah's lining up. They're running the ball. They're going to run the quarterback. They're going to try to keep the Texas Tech offense off the field and show us you can stop us.
Yeah. This is a Cincinnati podcast.
It is.
So, Cincinnati, we've got them in Tier 3 and pretty comfortably in Tier 3 at this point. They have 6 of their 9 remaining games are against top 40 SP Plus teams. They're 44th, I think, this week. They made a nice jump. You beat the crap out of an FCS team. You make a good jump, whatever.
Yeah, God, sure.
I think they're at 44th. They have 6 teams that are rated higher than them the rest of the way. Oklahoma State really being the only team that is terrible or, based on the numbers is terrible. Right. I have no confidence in how this goes one way or the other.
I kind of don't care about the numbers right now for anybody when it comes to the metrics like those, just because schedules are just so different. And I just, in the portal era and all this stuff, I just don't know how you're building your models. How are you basing returning production? If a guy...
Well, I think the one I saw today, it was they had a formula for it. It was weighted based on how many games you had played.
Right, but if
each game you play, it weights less.
Right. But are all those games equal? I have a transfer coming in that played started 12 games at the FCS level, or I have a transfer coming in that started 4 games at the P4 level. Are those weighted the same?
Right.
I know in SP Plus, I don't know what it is now, but I know at one point, like, recruiting rankings were baked in. What does that mean in the portal era?
Yeah.
But no, my concern has been and will be, like, it's great. Yeah, the 3 main ones that I look at are all in like the low 40s, and I'm like, okay. I'm tired of being a metric darling. You have to start turning that into wins.
But the thing is, you're looking at 6 teams that are rated higher than you that are on the schedule.
Yeah.
So you're not, again, we came into this season with it. Cincinnati's got one of the easiest schedules, blah, 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 blah. And then we get to, the start or into conference play, and it's, they've got one of the hardest schedules because it's the Big 12, and nobody freaking knows until they start playing the games who's any good and who's not any good.
Yeah, I'm still going to wait till about, I don't know, 3 weeks from now. I don't think that'll be the case in 3 weeks.
Okay.
I don't think you'll have that many teams still in the top 40. But who knows?
Yeah.
All I know is, you and I have talked about it ad nauseum. We've probably way too much. Like, I kind of don't care about any of it. You've got to show me that you can go on the road, and I don't care against who. Go on the road and win a game. Just go down the schedule and be like, which one of these games are we going to be favored or underdog by more than 7 points? Probably not many.
Yeah.
So
what you can't have happen, Dave, is you lose these first 2, and it's very possible because you're going to a Kansas team that's right there about even with you. I think the one I looked at today, they were 1 spot apart, 43 and 44. They're right there next to each other, and you're going on the road. And then you get Iowa State at home, who is a team that could very well be Cincinnati's kryptonite.
Yeah.
In that they don't hurt themselves. They don't make the key mistake, and Cincinnati makes the key mistake. Or at least that is the MO that they have developed through 26 games of the Scott Satterfield era. You are who you are until you aren't. And then UCF at home, Oklahoma State on the road, with your absolute backs against the wall.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit today. We won't need to get into predictions or anything, but it's just you can totally game out losing a close game at Kansas, losing to Iowa State because that's what you do, and then you're staring a 3-game losing streak in the face if you don't beat UCF at home. And then if you don't win that game and you have a 3-game losing streak, and we can talk all we want about Oklahoma State, but where is the overall vibe check? Road game in Stillwater against team that everyone thinks is terrible on a 3-game losing streak. It's
with a veteran roster that had high expectations of themselves.
Yeah. You don't have to squint. And I'm not saying you've got to be pessimistic or negative or whatever, but you don't have to squint too hard to see things going off the rails in the next month.
Well, Dave, and then let's just say they get through the first 4 of this conference slate 2-2, right?
2-2, yeah.
Okay. Baylor at home, Utah on the road, Arizona at home, BYU at home, TCU on the road.
Yeah, the Baylor Utah back-to-back is not something that I'm really looking too forward to.
Josh, we kind of joked. So the Wednesday, the Wednesday after, if I survive this cold, the Wednesday after Oklahoma State is going to be the 500th episode of the BCJ podcast. If they're sitting at 0-4, or like if they're 1-3 with that loss, a loss at Oklahoma State, we're just going to do a 500th celebration episode, and we're not talking anything. I don't want that.
I know what we will do. We'll be unveiling Hopboard 1.0.
If the Iowa State game is a night game, UC is going to win.
Okay.
Leroy. I picked UC to beat Iowa State. Now, I said the other night, if I could walk that back, knowing what we know after 3 weeks, I'd probably walk that one back. I'd probably be with you at 6-6.
Here's my biggest concern when it specifically comes to UC and the teams they got to play moving forward. If you're going to play just like we did in a lot of games last year, if you're going to play in these tight to semi-tight games, defensively, how are you going to force mistakes to give your offense extra opportunities and thus take advantage of those mistakes? Because you're not going to play perfect offensively. So if you're not, like, look at Kansas and Iowa State. Like, if 2 weeks from now, or 3 weeks from now, I guess technically, if they've forced 1 or 0 turnovers in those 2 games, I don't think there's a chance in hell they can win either one of them. And if you're just going to play the kind of defense we've seen even against way lesser opponents, like, these teams don't play styles of offense where they're just freewheeling, running and gunning. We don't care if we make mistakes because we're going to get 90 plays and 15 possessions. And
well, we know Kansas wants to play ball control kind of with 15 yards within the line of scrimmage, right? They're not super splashy. Like that's the type of game they want to play.
Yeah, their stuff is very much horizontal, eye discipline. Their big plays are not throwing it 70 yards over your head. It's a 15-yard pass, and you are so confused on what's going on. There's nobody near the guy, and he runs it that far.
Iowa State is very much, we're going to take what you give us.
Yeah, they're throwing the ball to the tight ends 40% of the time.
UCF's quarterback stinks, so everything they do is going to be around the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're just going to run the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Everything's going to be right around the line of scrimmage. Oklahoma State, I'm not – look, again, if they go to Stillwater and lose that game, Baylor does want to hit you with big plays. And they have the talent to do so. So you can play bend but don't break, and they're not going to care.
No, you play bend but don't break. They're gonna hit that 10-yard hook route over and over and over again, and then just rely on their sweet, fast wide receivers to break tackles and run away from people.
Utah's going to welcome play 3-3-5 and keep everything in front of us. They don't care.
Yeah, because they just want to be big and smashy. They'll be like, "Oh, you have 5 guys in the box? Okay, we'll bring in 12 personnel and just run it down your throat all game."
Arizona, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough yet about them. BYU, they're going to run it nonstop and want to be physical.
Yep.
And then Hoover, we know he's going to take whatever you give him. So you're not facing a lot of, other than like Baylor wants to go over the top on you. But other than Baylor, you're playing a bunch of teams that are perfectly content nickel and diming you down the field. There's a lot of them on there. Would you disagree with that?
No.
So something's going to have to change. Quarterbacks completing 80% of their passes and teams converting a bunch of third downs. It ain't going to be able to look like that if you're going to win 5 of these games.
And that's there's nothing that we're taking from Northwestern State, but if they targeted 5 passes outside the numbers in that entire game, I'd be stunned. If we actually went back and watched their offensive play calling, like if they threw it outside the numbers 5 times, I would be like, holy shit.
So, I like the defense. I like Tyson Vite. But what we have seen so far does not predicate well to the type of offenses that they're going to face the rest of the way. Unless they get a little, like the tackling becomes, if they tackle like they did against Nebraska all year, then I feel a little bit better about it, Dave.
Yeah.
If they tackle like they did against Bowling Green, it's not going to be fun.
Right, but they tackled really quite well, especially for the first game of the year against Nebraska. But Nebraska was still 10 of 17 on third down because their third downs were mostly all manageable third downs.
3rd and 4 and less. Well, we saw that against Bowling Green. When they stopped Bowling Green on 1st and 2nd down, Bowling Green couldn't convert on 3rd down. But when it was 3rd and short, Bowling Green moved the sticks. So, we'll have plenty of time to get into this as the season goes on, but that's my concern with the defense against the type of offenses they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing a bunch of offenses that say, we'll take you 7 yards at a pop right down the field, 6-7 yards a pop right down the field.
Yeah, because eventually, if you're in 3rd and manageable all the time, eventually your players are going to have to come up to try to get stops, and that's when you take that shot, miss that tackle, and it's sayonara.
All right, you got anything else on this?
No, excited to get going. I feel like, and it's not just a UC thing. Like I feel like the good teams in the Big 12. Like I'm ready to see them play other good Big 12 teams.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like some of the other conferences have already kind of gotten that going. You had the Tennessee Georgia game, you had Georgia Tech Clemson, you've had some other like inter-conference good games already. It feels like the Big 12 is a little late to the party there.
They had the first one.
Yeah.
And then not a whole lot since. All right, we'll timestamp that. Brought to you by Turtles Brew. 6% ABV, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free. The bourbon-infused sweet tea. They have cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla. They have lemonade tea. They have strawberry mint. There's over 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati, more than 100 around the state of Ohio. Visit turtlesbrew.com for information and locations nearest you. A couple college football topics to get to here, Dave. You want to go transfer portal dates first, or you want to go firing coaches 3 weeks into the season first?
Let's go. I don't know exactly what I have on the portal. I feel like we've kind of talked about it already a little bit.
Well, it's just official now.
Yeah, official. We can start there because I don't have a ton to say about that because I'm not sure how long it's gonna last the way that they're saying it's gonna be.
Yeah. So the spring transfer portal window is gone. That portal window, that portal has closed, Dave. We are opening and closing portals like we're the MCU at this point.
Oh, I don't know. What does that mean?
But portals into different timelines.
I know what portals are, but what is MCU?
the Marvel comic universe.
Oh, no idea what that means.
I really don't watch it either, but I know they do a lot of things with timelines and portals. So the spring portal is gone, and they call it the fall portal. It is not. Again, people are really bad with seasons. Well, I guess technically winter doesn't start until January 21st. So I think this portal goes from the 5th to the 21st. So it would be the fall portal. So actually, I commend the NCAA on this because they're staying true to what actual seasons are, and they're not calling the middle of the summer the fall. I digress. So the portal now, it's not going to open until January 5th.
Okay.
And December is now a dead period.
Sure it is.
So players are not going to be nobody can enter the portal until January 5th. Seasons are going to end. Hi, Rachel. Seasons are going to end.
Winter starts December 21st, not January.
Like technically in the solstice calendar? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Every year.
Okay, my bad.
Yes, that is true.
Okay, then it is winter. I don't know why I thought January.
December is yes.
Okay. That's on me. My error. Anywho, you're not going to be able to enter the portal until a month for most of these guys, until a month after your season.
I'm sure no one will be contacting anyone in that month time period.
Right. Josh, I think it actually is the other way. But then school is going to start usually the second week of January. And then there's like a 2-week grace. Essentially, we don't care. There, at least the SEC thought process is winning, Dave. School does not matter. We do not care when these kids are in school, when they're not in school, what classes they're attending, what classes they're not attending. We need this thing to match up with the football calendar, and the school calendar is irrelevant. Outside of, you are going to have to get these kids in before the deadline, or else they're not going to be able to start until the summer, which we talk about now as if it's going to be a big thing. It's not. You know what's going to happen, Dave? January 5th, the portal is going to open, and by January 6th, there's going to be like 300 commitments.
Yeah, I mean, like they're gonna have a month from after. I mean, and a lot of these kids know they're going into the portal. Before, it's not like they just decide when their season's over that they're leaving. I mean, some of them will be told they're leaving. Maybe they weren't expecting on going into the portal, but like, I think the overall problem stems from the fact that the NCAA and the universities at large want to continue the charade of these are student athletes and this is about higher education. Because if they weren't beholden to the academic calendar, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
But they continue to be, and I understand that. You can't just have kids, coming and going, enrolling in classes in March for the second, in the second semester and stuff like that. So I get it. And I do think it does a disservice to the players. But when has the system ever really been about the players?
Never.
This is happening this way because outside of the Big Ten, which I think I've said it once and I'll say it again. The more people that realize that the SEC was not the problem, the better off it is. More and more people are realizing that the issues in college football that the consumer, the fan, has seen or not been a fan of over the last several number of years have mainly been Big Ten driven. The Big Ten is the only conference that did not want this to happen. I don't know if it's because of academics. I don't know if because they feel
They say it's because of the calendar.
Right. I know I think, what did Ryan Day say something about the having to prepare for a title game or something while everybody else is working, and Brian Kelly, rightfully so, said no one's really gonna listen to your complaining from the deck of your yacht.
Right.
Sorry you're in the title game. Here's one thing you got to deal with. You got enough analysts and recruiting staffers. I think you should be able to handle both. But this is coming from the coaches for two reasons. The coaches do not want to have to wait until April to find out what their team is for August/September, really like late July when camp starts.
Yeah.
And the coaches and their recruiting teams and NIL teams do not want to pay kids for January, February, and March for them to then go into the portal in April. They want to know who's getting money and who's on my team as quickly as possible,
right,
for the next season. And I don't disagree with that. Like, if I'm the coach, I don't want to have to find out in April that, oh shit, Ohio State just bought my left tackle.
Yeah, my left tackle and my starting running back I
got to go find a new left tackle in April.
Yeah.
So I get it. I would be the same way.
It's interesting now, though, that there's no net anymore, because there's been a net. The spring portal it allowed a lot of kids to say, okay, the coaches have told me XYZ, but I'm going to go through spring practice,
right,
and see what it looks like, and then make a final decision. Or they brought a couple guys in the portal at my position, or they brought a star in at the portal at my position. What does my net role now look like?
I think it's just going to result in even more honest conversations. Things of hey, we like you. We want you to
disagree.
No, but we're going to go get guys at your position in the portal.
I think it's going to result in more lying. Because then, Dave, all you have to do is lie to them until January 21st. You don't have to continue the lie.
Well, that's why. But they're going to see what happens.
Maybe, or
whether they're lying or not. You might be lying, but if I bring in a couple dudes at your position, I'm clearly.
It's healthy competition, Dave. We still love you. We still think you can be our number one guy, but it's healtty competition. Okay. We're just trying to get better. We're just trying to get better.
Because those types of conversations have never had. Just getting you prepared for the real world.
Yeah, it's just healthy competition, Dave. We still love you. We still think you're our guy. We believe in you, but that room's a little thin.
A lot of college football players should familiarize themselves with the Marvin Lewisism of "I see better than I hear."
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell me all you want, but I just watched you bring in 2 other running backs, so I'm in the portal, buddy. Peace out.
Yeah. It will be very interesting because there will be a lot of dishonesty.
Well, I think too, there's gonna be even more so of the if you're going into your junior year and you haven't played,
yeah, you gotta go.
You gotta go. Whether they tell you that or not, you need to have some self-awareness.
If you're not comfortably in the middle of the 2 deep, you might not be at the top of the 2 deep, but you better not be hanging on to the 2 deep by a thread. You better be okay, we got a guy graduating and you're next.
I mean, if I'm a coach and I'm looking at my roster in this new calendar, anybody that did not play legit snaps in non-blowout situations, they're gone. If they're a junior or older.
Yeah. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. I know everybody wanted January because of the optics, right? Like, we got the bowl game coming up. Nobody gives a fuck about bowl games.
No.
Nobody cares. Let's stop with the charade. Nobody cares about bowl games.
I mean, they're
Coaches don't care. Players don't care.
ESPN owns almost all of them now. And it's strictly for the fact of, we can say all we want about how we hate bowl games. The numbers tell the story. People watch them. And
people gamble on them.
It's programming in December and January outside of the NFL, the end of the NFL season and the playoffs. Like, we can all joke about the Pole Laner Weed Whacker Bowl, and people watch them. The bowl games, almost every bowl game will do better numbers than the best college basketball game of the year.
Not far off, at least.
No, I mean, there obviously will be 5 or 6 college basketball games.
Yeah, but if you drop down to number 7, like the Poland Weed Eater Bowl is going to do better than the 7th college basketball game all season.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's stop pretending we can.
Oh, I mean, I do not. I have been on that train for quite a few years, and then when you expand a playoff to 12 teams, like, don't care at all. Don't care who opts out. To me, it doesn't say anything about you at all. It's an exhibition game at that point. Like,
is it maybe being done to protect the sanctity of the playoff?
I don't know. I still think it's being done to protect the bowls and their corporate partners and all of that. I'm not sure it has anything to do with the playoff itself. Like, I'm not sure what the Independence Bowl, what the through line is to the playoff for the Independence Bowl or the Music City Bowl or the Pinstripe Bowl. I mean, any of them. Like, they're money makers for ESPN and they're money makers for the partners. That's it.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next one. Virginia Tech, UCLA, head coach is out. Week 3. You have listened to a lot of college football content.
I do.
Over the past couple days. What's your read on these situations? I don't think I'm going to have a voice by the end of the show. It is actively going out. Every time I try to talk, it hurts.
I think that I don't necessarily think it's like the start of some trend of firing coaches super early. I think they're both unique in their own situations. Starting with UCLA, it was just a bad hire. They tried to do it on the cheap. They had plenty of money. They didn't want to spend it, and they got what they paid for. I mean, you're already getting what? Graciously saying like 20,000-30,000 people into the Rose Bowl. You're blown out at home. You're blown out at home by New Mexico. I mean,
I think he meant 20-30 people.
Yeah. Your coach is not ingratiating himself to, like, he had some odd comments at Big Ten Media Day. Then he shuts out the media altogether from talking to any other coach or any player, and then you turn around and get your doors blown off by New Mexico, who has a new coach and a new quarter and a whole bunch of new players. I just was like, that one to me was just like, we screwed up. We need to get out from under this as soon as we can. The Virginia Tech one is a little bit different, but also kind of similar. Like, 2 weeks ago, you're up 20-10 at halftime at home against Vandy, and they outscore you 34-0 in the second half. And you follow that up by playing another in-state school who you have canceled future games against because you don't want to really play them anymore. And they just I mean, they kicked their teeth in. ODU, I mean, the final score was way closer than that game really was. And I think that one, I mean, from the stuff I've listened to, and it makes sense, is like sometimes we don't look at things so micro of like, this is an entertainment product. If we continue down this road, no one's going to come to the games. And we're just going to be losing a ton of money and continuing to build bad vibes, bad will with our fan base. And I don't love it. I mean, it's never a good thing when you're a quarter into the season and you're already making coaching changes, but like, it's hard to justify another week or two. Like, what were the vibes? The vibes at Vodtech practice, or they fired him on Sunday,
right?
So there probably wasn't even a practice. But let's just say they didn't. Like, what is going on in that locker room this week?
Everybody's looking out for themselves, right? Like the school is looking out for itself. The program is looking out specifically for what is in the best interest of the program. I'm looking in the mirror and saying, okay, this is a business.
Right.
We are at the business stage of this is a business. So what is in the best interest for myself? Like, this is why I wouldn't use redshirt years anymore if I was a player. Because you're kind of beholden to that school if you've used the red shirt, right?
Yes. If you like, people are talking about, oh, the whole team's going to jump ship because they haven't played 4 games yet. Well, I'm sure the high number of players at a UCLA or a Virginia Tech have probably already redshirted.
Generally speaking, yes.
Because they're not
And you
new.
don't
It
get to
wasn't.
have
It wasn't a 1-year deal. Like, it wasn't a new coaching staff, and now you're already moving on. Like, something didn't happen where you have a ton of players that are too young to have used a red shirt. So,
Or you just bank on 5 for 5 is coming.
Yeah. I wouldn't bank. I mean, I think it is, but I wouldn't. In college sports, I wouldn't bank on anything.
I'm sitting out the rest of the year, bro.
Oh, for sure. If I can, I am. For sure.
You can. That, like, everybody can. Right? Everybody can.
Well, if you've already redshirted, then it would count as a season, right?
No. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, how could it not? I mean, you've already redshirted, so it's not like you can say, I didn't play 4 games, I'm using this as a redshirt. You already did that.
I mean, could you not go to the NCAA and file a waiver?
I don't know. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody lawyers up now, and almost nobody loses.
everybody files a waiver.
So I'd file a waiver and say, look, I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't fire the coach. I didn't play in 4 games. I demand that I have a red shirt. I demand that I get this year back because I didn't do this to myself. Y'all did this to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd put them in a hell of a spot. We got 36 guys left to get through the rest of this season. Good luck.
Yeah. But, okay, here's the other thing, though. Like, we don't know did these programs front load NIL payments? Or is there money tied
What's
to
the contract look like?
almost like a game check type situation? And if I do redshirt and I've still got 9 games, or if I do just sit out / redshirt and I still got 9 games left, how much money am I leaving on the table?
Well, that would be a matter of really how much are guys getting from NIL, which because of the situation this past offseason was almost all front loaded, and how much is rev share. Because rev share, you're in a contract with the school, and there are going to be stipulations in that contract.
Right.
I couldn't speak to what they are because I haven't seen them, but a school's going to protect itself, per se. I don't know. Who would you hire at those two schools, Dave?
Well,
Shane Beamer.
UCLA, if Shane Beamer took that job, I would be frankly floored. Like,
He might not win a game at South Carolina this year.
makes no sense for him to do that. No sense.
I don't know.
I mean, I would never leave a SEC job for a middle tier ACC job. Like, no.
Yeah, but it means a little more to him than you would think, at least.
I mean, does the 50% pay cut mean more to him?
How about they're not going to let Witt hire the coach?
Yeah,
Have
it
you seen
seems like
that?
he's part of some panel.
Yes. They are
Well,
forming a committee.
He hired Justin Fuente and now hired Brent Price. So I don't think I'd let him hire the coach either.
They're forming a committee. He is not going to be the chairman of said committee. He will be on said committee, but he will not have final say on who's the coach.
Yeah. UCLA, who the hell knows? They have to decide if they want to, what they want to be. Because that's the question that all these agents are going to be asking. The lists that there's no point in putting these types of things out right now. I know they get clicks and that's why they are put out there.
Sure.
But is UCLA now realizing that, oh crap, we've had all this money for a long time and now we're in the Big Ten, we should probably start using it?
Yeah.
Because if they don't, who do they think they're going to hire? Who's taking that job? And
Not a great job.
Virginia
It's
Tech,
just not.
Witt has said how much money they need.
Double, basically,
And he's saying they need $80 million
in subsidies from the
from
university.
the school, which
to
I
co- to
agree.
compete.
Which that can be another conversation for another day. But, the landscape is just different now, man. It's so much harder to do what Virginia Tech did, which then Clemson took the Virginia Tech model and has done and is
Supersized it. Yeah.
still, their disappointing start notwithstanding, it's just hard, man. You're in conferences with a Clemson, a Florida State, a North Carolina that are just have
Miami.
75% more money than you. 50 to 75. I mean, I think I saw that their budget in all those PowerPoints and stuff that Witt put together, or they put together talking to the university about it. Their overall athletic budget for 2025 was around $122 million, and that was 14th in the ACC.
Yeah.
So
the dollar is not stretching the way it used to.
Where are you coming up with the money to hire really go out and get somebody? Because Shane Beamer's got a lot of emotional connection there, but he's not going to go there for less money.
Nor should he.
No, absolutely not. I mean, they might have a rough year this year, but they were in the conversation to be in the playoff last year come the end of the year in the SEC.
You're almost at a point, Dave, that you just have to accept we're going to hire the best up-and-coming coach we can find and hope that it works.
Yep.
And if in 3 years it doesn't, we'll start over. And if in 3 years it does, we'll start over.
Pretty much.
Because
or it works really well, and you have sellouts and you have a higher donor turnout, and then you can
But you can't, Dave.
no, but
Let's stop fooling ourselves. You can't.
you can.
You're not gonna.
It's still rare that you have the P4 to P4 or the P4 to P, like the P4 to P2 head coach move.
I think it's going to become more common at Virginia Tech, at Cincinnati, at Houston, at UCF. Like, if you hire the up-and-comer and they have three, like they take you to a conference championship and you make a playoff, that coach is going to go to the SEC or the Big Ten.
Yes, and here's the thing about that is that we're getting to the point where the coach in the G5, like I'll use, Matt brings up Alex Golish, and I'll mention John Sumrall again. Those guys don't have to take the Virginia Tech job. The job at USF and at Tulane is comfortable enough and good enough for them that they can wait for the SEC job.
Yeah.
There's not the G5 to lower, like middle tier P4. I win there, then I jump up to Tennessee or Michigan or whatever. Now I'm making 3, 4, 5 million here. I'm winning. I've got everything I need at this level. Like John Sumrall, like I don't think anybody even put him on a list for Virginia Tech because they realized like he ain't going to Virginia Tech,
right?
He's going to Florida or
Kentucky,
what Kentucky or some other SEC job. He's not going there, and
yeah.
I feel kind of the same way with Golish. Like, I mean, he took over one of the worst G5 teams ever. Jeff Scott won 4 games in 3 years. And he won 7 games his first 2 years and then beat Florida 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't totally nosedive, he doesn't really have an incentive to turn that into a non-SEC Big Ten job. Because what does he do? He does really good for his situation at USF, and then he takes the Virginia Tech job, and it doesn't go great. He's now not getting the SEC job where he could sit at USF for 2 more years or 1 more year, do what he's doing again there, and then he just goes to the SEC.
Right. It's not a great spot if you're a team that's struggling to keep up financially.
Yeah.
Because look, I know if I go to Virginia Tech, I'm not going to be able to buy the players to compete at the top of that conference. I'm just not.
No, and it's just it's like, I'm not going to say it's virtually impossible, but it's just you don't build rosters anymore and then capitalize on that year where you have a bunch of 4th and 5th year guys.
Right. Well, you do, but it's just with somebody else's 4th and 5th year guys that you're
and how volatile is that?
Right.
You don't know. You have no idea if that's going to work out year over year. No, Matt, he is not going to be available for us. Or at least I wouldn't think so. I mean, I'm just being blunt and honest about it. If I'm him, no. Why would I do that?
Yeah. I mean, sure, at Cincinnati, there's proof of concept, but there's not proof of concept in the Big 12.
Right.
There's proof of concept Cincinnati can be good, but there's not proof of concept in their current situation that they're going to be able to keep up with Texas Tech and,
No. I mean, you have a billionaire alum at Texas Tech. You think if things don't go exactly how they want this year, that they're gonna stop giving.
Right.
And if things do go well, they do get to Dallas for the first time ever. How many more people then are now going to jump on board to give?
Right. It's turning ugly. It's turning ugly. Let's timestamp there. Turtles Brew, 6% ABV, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free. It's a bourbon-infused sweet tea. We have strawberry mint, lemonade tea, cherry lime, raspberry peach, orange vanilla. More than 50 locations in Greater Cincinnati, over 100 around the state of Ohio. Visit turtlesbrew.com for more information and the locations nearest you. That brings us to, we're not going to get to basketball tonight. Next week, we'll have the Kansas preview. Practice starts on Monday. We'll take a look next week at kind of setting expectations for basketball, reasonable expectations for basketball going into the season. I was thinking we might be thin tonight and get to it. We're not. We're talking football. Dave loves talking football of all kinds. So we'll bump that back to next week after the Kansas preview. But we do have the Cincy Light Simone 6-pack of games to watch this weekend. David?
Texas Tech at Utah, noon, Fox. I mean, we already talked about it enough, but that's, I mean, if you're a Big 12 fan, if you're a college football fan, this is a game you want to see. Auburn at Oklahoma, 3:30 ABC. You had two teams that were kind of coming into this year with a lot of the pundits had both on the, are these going to be openings that come up? It doesn't appear that way. So I don't think it really says anything about whoever loses this game that they're all of a sudden going to nosedive, but interesting game there. Michigan at Nebraska, 3:30 CBS. No Sharon Moore, Biff Poggi coaching for the Wolverines. I like the running back matchup in this game. Justice Haynes or Hayes, I forget which one. I think it's Hayes. I don't know. For Michigan, Alabama transfer Emmett Johnson, Nebraska running back. Will be interesting to see how.
Is he related to Drum Ford?
I'm sorry, who? Alabama transfer? No.
Yeah. I didn't know.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Jerome Ford's like MIA for the Cleveland Browns is what that is.
Yeah.
Nebraska's defense doing stuff good against some outside of UC, some pretty atrocious opponents, but
they made UC's offense look atrocious.
Yeah. Freshman quarterback for Michigan. You know, what is that? Feels like this is a game that Nebraska can, and I feel like not should, but like if you want me to truly buy into like Nebraska being good this year, they should win this game. You have the head coach of the other team isn't there. You have a freshman quarterback on the road.
Is it at? Yeah, it's at Nebraska.
Yeah,
so
like if you want people to buy into like Nebraska's back, Matt Rule third year, like we're gonna go 8-4, 9-3 or better. Like you can't lose this game.
Maybe they should have moved this one to Arrowhead.
Maybe they should have. South Carolina at Missouri, 7 p.m. ESPN. Lenore Sellers, I believe they on today's injury report, questionable. So who the hell knows? But
he escaped my favorite designation, Dave.
Which what? Probable?
Day to day.
Do they do those or do they just do?
No.
I just think like the Missouri fun offense, and I just don't. If he can't play, like this is your. Keep your eye. I don't know what the spread. I want to see what. I actually want to see this right now, so I can say this with some level of confidence. If you're into a little wager here and there, let me get
Missouri 10.5 point favorite.
Okay, watch it. If the second they announce that he's not playing, hammer Missouri because I don't think South Carolina will score. They've already struggled to score when he's he's been there. So, and that'll jump up immediately if he's ruled out. Florida at Miami, 7:30 ABC. I think Miami's like good. They are very good on the offensive and defensive lines. If you have not watched them yet, they have a very, very fun true freshman wide receiver, Malachi Toney. Florida's defense is good, but I think, if I'm right, like Caleb Banks is hurt again. He might not play. DJ Lagway's coming off 5 interceptions.
I don't even know why this game's on your list. Like, Miami's going to bloodbath Florida.
It's because it's still like a fun game to watch.
Probably not.
Illinois at Indiana, 7:30 NBC. Indiana trying to do Indiana 2024, with Illinois also trying to do Indiana 2024. 2 good quarterbacks, Francisco Mendoza for Indiana, Cal transfer, and Luke Altmaier at Illinois. Just good, fun game. I'm not sure what to expect, but 7:30 NBC. And then that's my 6-pack. But if you get the full slate this week, if you're truly a degenerate, you can stay up till 11 p.m. to watch Michigan State at USC.
$11 o'clock kickoff, 11 p.m. kickoff. Oof. There's Big Ten after dark, and then there's 11 p.m. on a Saturday night of the college football that started in some places at 10 a.m.
I don't want it. Well, that's the thing is like, what, Utah, Texas Tech is starting at 10 a.m. local time, and then you have a 11 p.m. game for the East Coast, 8 p.m. local time.
That Utah game,
LA.
That's not even brunch, big noon kickoff. That's breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
That's breakfast, big noon kickoff.
I was texting my brother because he lives in Salt Lake now. I was like, you should try to get to that game. He was like, it's 10 a.m. and I'll be camping. He's like, I'm just praying to God the UC game isn't that time because we have a bunch of people going out there for that. So I'm not one of them.
No. Golf, Dave. Golf.
I actually drove by. It didn't even register to me. I drove on the road that bisects Coldstream on Monday and was like, oh, there's an event going on. And then I realized, oh, it's UC playing in an event.
You could have stopped by. Doug would have given you the royal treatment.
I know. I should have hopped in the golf cart with him and rode around. But yeah, demolished the competition. Fall season is off to a wonderful start.
Yeah, they're playing well. Playing well. All right, I got to get out. My voice. I was fine. Like, as this podcast started. And then like 5 minutes into it, my voice just decided, I think I'm going to go out. I think I'm done. So that should be fun the rest of the week. Should be fun the rest of the week. At least there's not a game this weekend. So get a couple nightcaps in and
you don't have to do an aftermath.
No.
There will be no, I think we've mentioned this before, but there will not be a brunch Sunday morning.
Jeff and Dave both out of town. So what can you do? All right, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Sorry I was less than 100%, but it's that time of year. It happens. We'll see you next time. That's the BCJ Podcast, brought to you by the Holy Grail, right here on BearcatJournal.com.